So the third tip is developmental movement and sensory play. This is what reinforms the brain. Now, we can have cultivated, based on our past experiences, we can have presensory filters and premotor responses in the file cabinet of our brain based on our 0 to 18 months experience. What that means is you're looking at life through an already decided response. You've even decided what you're going to feel. And we want to interrupt presensory, premotor focus and help it become present time. Oh, there's 2 L's there. Instead of doing presensory motor, learn to feel and inhabit your body. So skin brushing can help. If you've got tactile sensitivity, you get a little brush. They sell them online for occupational therapists, little skin brush. You can use push to feel proprioception. This book, where did it go? This is a book I wrote to help moms and even anybody who's hypersensitive learn the perceptual skills that help you inhabit the body. It's called Help for Sensory Challenges. But proprioception is the baseline, then tactile, then vestibular, and then you work into auditory and sight. That baseline is the pyramid that allows for academic readiness. So we want kids crawling. We want our babies crawling. We want our children not just in high-level sports at a young age. We want them digging in the dirt and having unstructured creative play. That has a lot of sensory in it. You can learn the patterns. This is my book I wrote, one of my second books, Conception to Crawling, has the primitive reflexes and the how to do micro movement sensation practice. Because often by the time we're an adult, we don't know how to feel sensation anymore. We've already got our established pathways. But this book I wrote to help you have practices that help you go back and understand the alphabet of movement, how crawling is supportive for the brain. I went back and crawled for a year, and my brain opened up because I had crawled with straight arms and legs. So this is part of getting, knowing yourself. What do you do when there's energy? Sorry, that was a big transition. When energy hits you, do you get flooded, like washed away? Do you get confused, disoriented? Do you get aggressive? Do you get frozen and you can't respond? These are things. Do you go into worry? These are all means that your sensory motor loop is not working. And that's what you want to get it to work again. You don't want any of those things to stay. And as a clinician, if you know how to get people down on the floor again, or at least in a chair in a new way so that their cognitive brain isn't running the show, you want to help them stand up and push against the wall. But this is really important. You use sensory games and improvisational games to interrupt the controlling brain, it's the amygdala that has vigilance, and it sends a signal. It goes from the hypothalamus to the amygdala, and it goes over to the associative memory of the hippocampus, and then those all combine and they go over to the basal ganglia, and the basal ganglia is the file cabinet that has all your filters in it. So it's highly accessible. But you want the signals, the sensory signals, not to go to what's familiar and emotionally reactive and already decided. You want the signals to come in, bypass this active limbic system, and come up to the creative brain. This gives you the ability to improvise, to have other choices, not to be fragmented so that you're creative in a way that doesn't have you be embodied, but to be embodied and improvise. So I wrote the book Awakening the Creative Mind because it has specific improvisational games, and Help for Sensory Challenges because it will build in the vocabulary of perception, and kids learn to regulate. Because often they're fine until they have to go to school, and then all hell breaks loose because they can't stand the extra stimulation. So you have to help them get in their bodies. For parents, if you're not sure how to give quality limits, which actually is like giving your kid a safe hula hoop, download my free PDF 123 Magic. This is by Thomas Phelan, who sells this on the internet. You can get his system. But it's very helpful to give a child limits so they are contained. You don't want them to become little tyrants, and you don't want to repress them. But healthy containment is essential for children. So learn to do micro movements. Imagine you're using your body for the first time. These are the things. And you don't want to do regular like workouts and yoga. That's fine to do as part of your fitness and your well-being. But you want to explore micro movement and, subtle, what's called in this book, From Conception to Crawling, the pre-vertebrate patterns. Oops, did I miss one? So movement and perceptions, and you want to feel and inhabit the body. And doing this gives you that kind of makeover experience in your brain. That's what starts to work with brain states, that you literally feel sensations in a new way. And my hope is you'll become playful and creative as well. So here's the tools for interrupting and starting to slow down your habits, associative habits. Use weight and pressure. Use the movements from the satisfaction cycle. Imagine you're learning how your body works and discovering. Try using different movement pathways. Open doors with the opposite hand. Pick things up with your other hand. Try relaxing your eyes and finding the right amount of focus. Imagine you're listening with your eyes or seeing with your ears. And reach with your ears so they don't contract and brace in the brainstem. Learn about tissue tone and middle tone, especially when there's conflict or feeling afraid. And give yourself, here's a last little bit of tools. You can practice this. Look in a mirror and smile. Give yourself smiling amygdala eyes. It's a wonderful feeling for creating deep in the nervous system a sense of well-being. Give yourself simple self-care tools. It's about curiosity and exploration. And so the need for rest. I got a sheepskin and started exploring what is it like to rest with a little soft sheepskin, a little nice soft one, right against my skin. It was great for tactile sensitivity. Listen to your internal voice. See yourself. Listen. Take the time to listen. Learn an emotional language. That helps create empathy and helps your heart. So if you're not used to emotional language, more analytic, you're going to have to make it up a bit. And you'll have to make it up in order to discover. And there's wonderful books. A colleague of mine developed a whole curriculum for social emotional learning for school teachers. Thomas McSheehy, and he won Teacher of the Year in Chicago. And just look up Thomas McSheehy Teaching Heart. But learning to speak about difficult things is huge. Because, and that's why download the Awareness Wheel PDF. It's a free in my library, and it helps you go through all the parts of conversation so you don't skip what you feel or accountability for what you do, because maybe what you're doing is not going to get you what you want. It's important to study these things. And then make sure you do move. Movement is learning. New experiences of music or swimming or playing an instrument. All of this is about embodiment and inhabiting the field of well-being. Because this is our time. This is what, we got what we got, and here we are. So why not use our intelligences? So again, just a little summary. precognitive access the precognitive events, treat spatial shock, and use developmental movement repair.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And so do you want more skills, then I can help you. I have an online course coming, but if you want to get in touch with my body of work, join my newsletter, put your email in the chat box, send an email to outreach@anniebrook.com, and remember these 3 tips. You have to slow down and metabolize cellular memory, inhabit space, share space, and redevelop your perceptions and body connection. Thank you so much for joining in. I want to leave the rest of our time for question and answer, but take a moment and think about one thing that's a takeaway for you so that you know, oh, that got my attention. Or one thing that you feel like, oh, I learned something, I can share it with a friend. These are the ways you integrate your learning. If you like this and you want more, May 12th is the beginning of my 12-class Healing Complex Trauma course. And it's a deep dive into the nuances of a lot of things I've been sharing, but paced with a membership site and access to practices. So I think that's it. Now it's your turn. You can also find me on Instagram, Annie Brook Therapy. I share quick little tools. Facebook, I do free Friday lives every Friday, 10 a.m. And I have a YouTube channel where I'm supposed to post all this stuff. So now I'm going to stop screen sharing so I can see you again. Hello, hello, hello. I hope that wasn't too much in our time and space. And, I love it. There's lots of interest in the chat group, so we can take a moment just to see. One, just take a moment and digest what you've learned. You already know this. It's not rocket science what I shared with you. I'm not the expert. I may be the translator. And you can remember that you already know this in some way. So don't get overwhelmed because that puts you in shock. Just realize, you're going to remember what you know, you're going to rediscover, and you're going to maybe learn a few new skills and apply them. Yeah, someone does trauma-informed shadow work, movement educators, advanced integrative therapy, a healed survivor of sexual violence. Hooray, 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 we can do this. We can do this and we can be proud of it. That healthy ability to, be full of yourself in a good way. I love those children that, they're still full of themselves. Sometimes you have to give them a few limits, but they haven't lost their vitality. So, global activation can create shock. Global activation, I'm just going to popcorn answer some of the questions. And if start raising, I see a hand up, so I'm going to go right to that. And I'm going to double task. So please unmute and give me your question, Monica. If you're still there, I see your hand. Okay, we're going to move on just because we want to get, is that Monica? Did you hear me? No, all your pictures are jumping along the picture here. So if your hand's up, unmute yourself and just say, I see. Here, Paula, go ahead.
Hello, thanks for taking my question, Annie. That was an awesome presentation. My question is actually for something that I experience in myself, like daily. I really, really quickly, flip of a switch, I enter an aggressive reaction to messy spaces.
To messy spaces,
Often I do not know that it's happened until I'm in the aggressive reaction, where I'll start doing this and I'll say, it's not okay, stuff like that. Is there any advice?
Yeah, you're getting sensory overwhelmed and you don't know it. Now, can you tell if it's auditory or visual?
It's visual.
It's visual. Okay, so what I would do is I would blink. First, I would imagine seeing with your ears instead of your eyes. Because in the anatomy development, the ears perceptually are in the lower colliculi. It's auditory, then vision. So let your eyes rest back into your head. Roll them around like marbles. Just let them just kind of be those loose eyes. And look with your ears instead. Mm. And I would listen for the sound and then look. Now, there's something to do with control there, the need to control space and feel safe. So then you might have a precognitive story, like maybe you were born C-section, or there was some need for control and protection that was missing. So I would have that personal inquiry and try to find the little baby and hold her on your chest.
Okay.
Yeah, soothe her rather than letting her get all agitated. Because it sounds almost like infant flailing.
Yeah, it does feel very infantile to me when I'm in it.
Yeah, so you can wrap in a blanket to get containment and be with that process too. Thanks for your question.
Yeah, thank you for your answer.
Yeah, you bet. Any other hands up? Otherwise, I'll go to the chats. There. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question about the spatial shock as well. When you experience, like when I experience it in the moment, it's like a thud, and everything's just shut down. What is an intervention or a response that would gently go into that state?
So let me understand better, honey. You are doing something and then everything goes thud?
When something comes in and it's overwhelming or frustrating or whatever, and I'm just like stop, a stop.
Okay, so instead of flailing, I think you freeze. Right? You don't do the movement, you just freeze. So what I would do, there's a couple ways to work out a freeze response. I kind of want to show you one. I want to show it to everybody. Let's practice this. See if it helps, and then I'll give you some more insight. When you're frozen, what a baby does is they get startled. Ah! Right? The spine straightens, there's an alarm, and then they grab hold of their mom and they relax. They're using the mom's field to help them regulate. When you get frozen, you're not allowing the movement to happen. So sometimes to get the movement, you have to startle yourself in order to move, and then you have to recover. So I'm going to do this for everybody who wants to play. I'm going to startle you. When you get startled, I want you to really throw your arms back, open your eyes wide, take a big gasp, make a sound. So you get the experience in your body of startle, and then I'll teach you how to recover. 1, 2, 3, hey! Right? Oh! Now feel that, yeah. Feel the freeze. There it is. Now add breath. Soften. You have to soften a little and add breath and little micro movements. Now start to reach a little further than you reached. So you're inhabiting space. Reach a little further and turn your eyes a little. Wiggle your fingers. Look around. Tell yourself, I'm okay. I just got scared. And then come back and sort of cross your hands and put them on your heart. Oh, and take a breath. And if you still feel startled, then just rub up and over your face and head. Get a little skin in there. Yeah. So sometimes why I like using the startle reflex to repair is you have to get the movement to happen if it's frozen. But we don't want to re-traumatize. That's why the recovery side is equally important. The hug, the sense of safety and comfort. And so sometimes with clients or with children, we'll do the startle game like 3 times in a row. And each time they add a little more breath and a little more comfort. And pretty soon they're standing up powerful. And they're not so startleable. They don't get so easily startled. So you want to develop a little resiliency to energy coming your way. Also, you might include making your hula hoop a little stronger so it doesn't overwhelm you. It bounces off. Yeah, maybe you're like have to put on your football helmet or something. Just instead of you freezing, just push into the field a teeny bit. Great questions. I really love your questions. Any others out there? You can raise a hand or just speak out if I can't see your hand. Great, you're brilliant. I love it. We've healed all our complex trauma. I'm so happy.
Someone did put a question in the chat, the last one.
Oh, okay, let's see. Auditory sensory overwhelm. Yeah, this is a good game, and I describe it in my little green book, Help for Sensory Challenges. But I learned it in body mind centering training because I studied the perception. It was just, I was so grateful. What you want to do is get a friend to stand behind you and just go really sweet whistling or hello, hello, hello. And you want your eyes to be closed, and you want them to kind of invite your ear to listen. And you want to develop the ability to reach with the ear and turn the head. When you turn the head, it crosses the frozen brainstem. It brings it out of freeze response. A baby, if a baby's on their tummy or on their hands and knees, and you go, hello, that they will listen with their ears and they'll sit down and then they'll turn and look at you. And that's because they're literally taking the sensory input down their spine. Auditory actually connects deep into the body. Tomatis, who developed a wonderful bilateral listening program, TOMATIS. You could get Tomatis sessions, bilateral listening with specific measurement of your own frequency. They have knockoff treatments like ILS, Integrative Learning System. And if you can't get to Tomatis, you could try that. But the bilateral is causing reach with the ears. Now think about children who are adopted. They have a whole auditory shock problem. Their birth mother's voice is not their new mother's voice. So they're trying to regulate all this incredible sensory input. So with the auditory, then once your person stands behind you and you start turning your head, then have them play a little game where you follow them with your eyes closed. You auditorily locate them and have them change levels and go slow so you don't get frustrated. But pretty soon it becomes fun. You're just traveling around, following your ears, and then you can even be off balance a little bit. That's why I teach contact improvisation. It helps you sensory input so you get a little out of the, stabilization. And that's what we want to do. There's a great game for sensory input that you can place very safely. You don't have to do contact improv. You can lie on the floor on your side and simply let yourself fall to the front and then roll by reaching with your mouth back onto your side and then fall to the back. And what you're doing is you're letting your body fall, but you're only falling just a teeny bit. But it gets your brain used to falling without gripping. And we want our brain to have that flexibility so it doesn't go into startle and freeze. Well.
Thank you. That was my question. Thanks so much,
Hi.
Annie.
Yeah, good to see you. Yeah.
Good to see you too.
Uh-huh. Well, thank you all. Do share this. I'm actually got a lot of, I'm going to do another webinar. It'll be another version of whatever this is on Wednesday at 6 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern time, so 6 p.m. my time, Mountain time. Feel free to share this link with your friends or give them tell them about it, how to go to anniebrook.com or my Instagram account. Because the more of us who can re-inhabit our bodies, we're going to get along better. Or you can help the children really make a significant change. And feel free to check out my free PDF library, or if you really want to dive into the nuts and bolts of the neuro movement science, join me on my seminar, which starts May 12th. But I want to say thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to share what I learned from other people and discovered, and I want you to be able to take these insights or curiosities. It's like, love the questions. Rather than letting it become a grip for your brain, let it become a question to love. And as Rilke says, love the questions themselves like an unopened book, and learn. You'll live your way to the answer. So your curiosity is going to give you, it's going to help you find what you need. My website is anniebrook.com, and the Body Mind Centering Conference has lots of somatic therapists coming up. So the resources are starting to show up, and I'm happy to share with you what I have. So I guess we get ready to say goodbye, which is a transition, right? I'm seeing people I know and love, so I'm really feeling this transition, actually. Yeah, such a treat to have spent this time with you. And whatever you're doing next, don't jump up and go do it, right? Give yourself a moment of breathing, a drink of water, a chance to integrate, because we went into the underbelly a little bit. And so you might have a little activation. So be gentle with yourself. If you like to journal, do that. But just be kind to yourself, and remember, orient to safety and comfort, good enough life, and you'll feel better. That's the goal. All right, bye for now. See you again, I hope. Bye-bye.